I'll just have more to whine about.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. If you'd all stand for the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Hunt.
Present.
Mr. Garwood.
Here.
And Mr. Minor.
Here. You fellows had an opportunity to review the minutes of January the 9th, 2014, and we have a blank in there. What's the date of employment? We'll begin
127.
Yeah, let's go Monday, 127.
I have, sir, and I will move a motion that it be approved as presented.
I'll second that, Pat.
All right. They'll stand approved as presented. Pat?
Just a couple of cleanup items. I gave Bob some information he requested, and I just made note of that in here. Do we release the check to Jim Santini? We all okay?
Is there any reason not to now?
No, everything's done.
Okay?
I don't see any reason not to.
Yeah, those punch list items, he took care of those emails.
Yes.
I move a motion that the check be presented.
Second, Pat.
Mr. Hum?
Yes.
Mr. Garwood?
Yes.
Mr. Minor?
Yes.
Okay. Also, professional service industries, we had previously authorized me to cut a check for them for $725, but I didn't want to release it until we had an invoice. The invoice came in at $675 instead of $725, so we need to void and just rewrite that check if that's your desire to honor that $625.
Yes.
I'll move that motion.
Thanks, Carl.
Second.
Just with that inspection was conducted on the 14th and it passed.
The 14th.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, inspection. Yeah, 14th of January.
Okay. Barry, you second?
Yes.
Mr. Hunt?
Yes.
Mr. Garwood?
Yes.
Mr. Minor?
Yes.
The copier maintenance program for the new Sharp copier, do we want that?
No, I spoke with them, and they're going to mark the file that we don't want the maintenance agreement, but we do owe for that piece of equipment.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, do we want to pay the $49.99 then for that one piece? And am I right to say that it's something that connects it to the internet? Is that what that's for? Is that the right term? Okay to release that check?
Yes.
Okay.
Technical name for it.
Well, that's pretty much what it does. Okay. Okay to pay.
It's a work group switch.
What's it called?
Yeah, lots more than one line.
Yeah, it's a 5-port.
What I wrote in here was connects the copier to the internet. Is that what we... Oh, I have this one. I can write it on here. Thank you. I know it's probably redundant, but let's just do a motion to do that, please.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Hum?
Yes.
Mr. Garwood?
Yes.
Mr. Minor?
Yes.
Yes.
This is what I talked to up there with Becky regarding the maintenance agreement. Yeah.
Regarding the maintenance agreement. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, regarding the government center windows and doors renovation project, we have fees totaling $759.45 that were in excess of the contract, and just need you to say that it's okay to pay that, or whatever you're going to do there.
That was for the loose stones and what sills, wasn't it?
No, I thought they were for permits and that. They were extra costs, not
Yes,
fees.
that's right.
I'll move a motion, we approve that.
Okay, Carl, thank you. It says reimbursable expenses, plan approval fees, and printing one set of drawings,
Oh, that was from,
or 11 sets of drawings, I'm sorry.
I'll second it.
Okay. Mr. Hunt?
Yes.
Mr. Garwood?
Yes.
Mr. Meyer?
Yes.
We doing the contract for the Village of New Waterford tonight, or are you going to do that when something comes around?
Well, no, I think we need to talk about it. I sent you folks the information from Latonia, and we'll have the information from New Waterford. You folks want to do the one-year contract of $35,000
This is for New Waterford, correct?
with New Waterford at this point in time?
Whatever you think, whatever your recommendation.
Well, I don't want to get into a 4 or 5 year contract unless you guys, that's the direction you want to go.
I'd much rather go with the one-year contract, Bob, because if you just look at what the levy brings in and where we're at, I know 35,000 was last
They're
year.
requesting 33.
No, it's 33 if you go with their
3 years.
4-year option.
Oh, gosh.
It's 35
Okay, I wrote
if we
33.
just do this year.
I wrote 33 on my notes. That's for the
Because
just 1 year.
Even with the replacement levy, we're still going to end up running a little snug here with these costs.
Right.
Very much so. For at what they're asking, all three are asking this year.
Right.
Yes.
So is that what you want, Bob, you want a motion?
Well, it's whatever you guys want to do. If you want to do the 1 year at $35,000, give me the approval to call Shane, because they're going to have to pass an ordinance to that effect,
Yeah,
and then get it to us.
yeah, I think that, I read your letter there, and I think that's what we ought to do. I mean,
Do we want to do a resolution to accept that now, and as we get it, or we want to do it after we get the contract?
Yeah, we'll do that after we get the
Okay.
ordinance.
Just discussed. Okay.
Yeah, because, if you look at it, on a 5-year average, it's 25 runs in the township on a 5-year average. Last year in 13, they had 19 runs in the township. So I think at some point in time, I understand that the costs for the fire departments continue to go up, but, there's only so much in the levy too. So I would say we're probably comfortable this year, Bob, don't you think, as far as our monies this year? But next year, we're going to have to look long and hard.
Let's look at it.
2013, there was only 19 runs. The year before, it was 34.
Right.
22 and 11, and 22 and 010, and 29 and 09.
Average is 25.
It's something we're going to have to start figuring out what we're going to do here. Fire levy only brings in so much money.
Yes.
Okay, so for discussion, and you'll just don't tell them it's okay to run it at 35.
Are we okay with just for 1 year at 35?
Sure.
All right. I'll put a call into Shane and
You need a motion to that effect or anything?
No, because what they'll do is they'll prepare an ordinance and then forward it to us, and then that way we'll accept it then.
Okay.
Received a check today from Mennonite Mutual Insurance for a, I don't know what you call it, a reserve that, on the Steve Zarnowski fire. Their insurance company sent us $12,000 to hold until it's all cleaned up.
Oh, we have one of those.
Yes, we did. Yeah. But
Okay.
I don't ever do anything with it
Just sit.
because it's made out.
How did they make it out?
I thought I made a copy. Let me see if I did or not. Give me 1 second. It is made out to Fairfield Township Trustees Demolition Fund for Steve Zarnowski Trust.
Do we have that line item?
I don't think so. No, but I have to check. Somehow or other, we'll have to stay in touch with those folks. I'm sure the lady that's in charge of the trust is from Louisville, Ohio, but she's in Florida now, so
Well, when they want the money, somebody will be called.
I'll just hold on to the check because I'm not going to deposit it, okay? Give you fellows a copy, or maybe I haven't yet, but I will, from Terry Asphalt Materials and Strasser Construction. They're holding a seminar in Lisbon on 2/25/14 from 10 to 11:30 about the pavement preservation seminar, it's called. And there's lunch included, but they need to know it by early February if you want to go to that seminar. I gave Mel a copy of that also. That's just information.
Who puts that on that?
It's from Terry Asphalt Materials and Strasser, STRAWSER Construction, Inc.
Yeah, they're brothers.
Right, they're doing the seminar. Their pavement preservation seminar is what it's called. But I just want you to know that. And Mel has that information also.
You gonna send that off?
I'd like to.
Yeah.
I do believe that is basically, I may jump in later, but right now, I think that's okay.
Smell.
Well, for the most part, we've been staying busy contending with the persistent snow, and which has been, from freezing rain, constant winds, and a little bit of everything. We've mixed up salt and ashes several times to keep the bin filled up. We had the 2009 went to Hills and had the oil pan replaced under warranty. When we haven't been dealing with the weather, we made some repairs to the 521 loader, new fuel pump and some other small things, as well as to the Case 590 backhoe, throttle cable, and a couple other small items. One of the bigger projects we worked on while we've been inside was put new pins and bushings in the sweepster pickup room where it hinged for the hopper in the front. The pins and bushings were worn out, so it had some new ones made, and made them greasable this time around to extend the life of them. And then Bob, I looked in the paper you gave me from the grassroots there about the signage and stuff, and I've gotten some of them made. I'm just going to get them laminated before I post them, and I haven't got that done yet. And keys for everybody here, so everybody can finally get back in the building again. We're going to stay with the lock set they put in there. Anyway, it's kind of a different key, and we know who all that.
Is there a trick to that hex key
Yeah.
as far as locking that handle?
Yeah, there is a trick to it.
Yeah.
Well,
I figured it out.
We didn't, oh, did you?
Yeah. That's how they all got in.
There's a keypad.
Almost.
And you have,
I have mine, but my board chairman also usually have one, just in case. Do you have, I don't have to have it tonight.
I have extras, so I just want to know who all has them, that's all.
I will, one will go to Myron Weir eventually, and one would go to, just escapes me, Deborah Muller.
Okay.
Do you want me to find a card or something and say that, or?
No, that's all right, just, as long as I have it written down so I know where they're at, that's all.
Well, right now they're with me. Next meeting I'll hand out.
Okay.
Now I have to remember which one it is. It isn't it? Is that what it looks like?
The one I just gave you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Ace.
That's Taiwan.
Probably.
Oh, it's made at your friendly hardware, Ace Hardware.
It does have fun. Kim has 3 keys, right?
Kim has 2 presently. You need a third?
Yes.
Do you want one and then one for each?
Yes, and I mean, technically I already I still have a key that I guess still use, works on the back door, if you're just trying to keep track. The old front door is now the back door key, right? Or always was, anyway, yeah.
Now, is that work down here too? Or is there no entrance to down there?
There's no locking. That's only could be opened from the inside.
Oh, okay, that's good. I got it.
And lastly, I met with Sean Butler and gave him all of his paperwork to fill out for his pre-employment, and he has filled it out and turned it in. I gave it to Pat today. And
I have one more paper to give you. I don't think I did. It's the duties of the road crew.
I have that. I put it in the package before I gave it to
Okay.
him because I had copies of it.
Okay, thank you, because I know I forgot to do that.
Yeah, I have that too. I included it in the package.
Okay.
And that's all I have. Yep.
Kim.
Hello. All I really have, and unfortunately we will not be able to act on it, but I did want you to know we did have one applicant. It was very nice of them for the zoning commission alternate. Unfortunately, they do live within the city limits. And so although that is technically in Fairfield Township, they obviously cannot serve on a board because they're inside the
Well,
city
the
limits.
zoning resolution specifically
Yeah.
states the
Yeah.
unincorporated area for those
Yeah.
2 boards.
Exactly. And we probably should have been clearer in that when we said that. So I really appreciate this person taking the time, and I wish we could have them. And that leads me to, I still need an alternate for my board. So if you're sitting here and you're a resident of Fairfield Township, I already have Cece Jones. She can tell you how much fun it is. Really, it's a laugh ride. And so we would love to have you. You can see me after the meeting or just send a letter to the trustees and say you're interested, and we really could use your help. So that's all I have.
Carl.
I have nothing. Barry?
A couple things. Mile Road Crew's been doing a nice job.
Thanks.
Snow and ice control, and they even put a lot of hours in it. We discussed it. We got the salt purchase order last meeting. Said you got your salt deliveries, you're in pretty good shape there, so.
Yeah, I mean, I have some that hasn't come in yet, but I did receive 100 ton in, so yeah, we're in good shape.
Good. Yeah, you guys have been doing an excellent job in that regard. Finally received the Jobs Ohio contract I gave each one of you that was approved back in September. We finally have a paper contract, and basically, Pat, this is the only one. We have the ODOT one, we have the Governor's Office Appalachia, now this is Jobs Ohio. So I need,
Did you get me when we're done, I need a copy of it, okay?
it's right there on your desk.
Oh,
I can get you another one if you've lost it.
no, well, if you put it here, it's good.
We need to have 2 copies sent back to them in Columbus, so
And who did you, just because I don't get all, I'm not privy to all that, who does that go to when you say Columbus?
this goes to Jobs Ohio. The Development Services Agency is where this will go back to. It's where the grant agreement came from.
Is the address on it, Bob? Barry?
No, it just says this.
I don't think there is, Pat. There might be on my...
When you send it back, are you sending it back electronically, or,
No, I will, they have to have originals signed.
so you do have the
On
address?
page 6, there's an address. Yeah,
If I can
Yeah.
count.
it's right here.
1, 2, 3,
South High Street,
4, okay.
in between 12 and 13 there, Pat.
Pardon me?
In between item 12 and 13.
Okay.
So we need to execute this. If I could have the authority to sign this, and I can get this sent out back tomorrow, it had to be back to them within 30 days. They sent it to me the 10th, so we're still within the time frames.
Is that your motion, Carl?
That's my motion.
I'll second it.
Have Barry sign that.
Barry, did you second?
No, I don't.
And I'll get these signs, and what they'll do, Pat, they'll send it back, and the government center's address is on here, so Mel will get it. When they get it sent back, they'll execute it by David Goodman, and then we'll be done. So we have that.
Okay. Mr. Hubbard?
Yes.
Mr. Garland?
Yes.
Mr. Meyer?
Yes. That's all I have, Bob.
What's the last two?
Mary and Barry.
Yes, I do.
Jeff Story, even though it doesn't look like a story.
I'm good, on.
Lisa Wallace.
I'm going to defer to Mr. Hubbard.
Well, the scratch next is yours, Mark.
It's my signature. It's your pen, it's not my signature. Most of you know who I am, and I'm here tonight representing Buckeye Transfer. Jerry Stoneburner is here, and Lisa Wallace, both of whom are part of Buckeye Transfer. We've been here several times. Most of you in the room know we've been here several times. And back in December, one of the things we heard from a lot of people that were here that evening, some of whom are here tonight, was safety concerns. And the safety concerns were with regard to, interestingly enough, not a grade crossing, which we had proposed and requested the Board of Trustees close, but with an intersection at Esterly Drive and State Route 344. Since that time, I think the trustees are aware. We heard the concerns, we listened to those concerns, and we've really done a lot of additional work. Now, just so everybody understands, Casey Talbot, the attorney that represents Norfolk and Southern Railroad, is not with us tonight. So when I say we, I'm going to include Mr. Talbot because, quite frankly, he's probably done the lion's share of the work trying to do some additional things to address some of what are perceived, at least, safety concerns. Now, the trustees are aware of some of the work that's been done. We're trying to secure everything that is being requested of us so that we can address all of these concerns. Widening that intersection if it needs to be done further, we're trying to address that. Drew Diebold from Diebold Industries was here. He had concerns over what's going to happen if there's barricades up. I'm going to lose my parking lot. Mr. Talbot has been working with him, and we think that he is satisfied with the work that's been done to try to put together a solution for him. So we're addressing that. The barricades, my understanding is that we've secured the funding to place appropriate barricades so that people don't go there, just find a dead end and have to turn around in this parking lot. Additional concerns have been raised as far as widening that intersection. We're addressing that, and I think the trustees are aware that we are addressing that. The bottom line is, Mr. Stoneburner is trying to be a good neighbor. Now, there's a little bit of a problem, and that is that his companies own 90 acres of what is industrial property.
Now, the surrounding area might not all be industrial, but that's been industrial longer than most of the people in this room. I'll go out on a limb and say since pretty much everybody in this room has been on this earth. It's been an industrial site since the early 1950s. It hasn't changed. On the one hand, what Mr. Stoneburn has been trying to do has been improving that industrial site. But unfortunately, when you're going to make improvements, you're going to create concerns, you're going to make changes. That's what's happening. Now, the ironic thing to me, we talked last month about concerns with this intersection, but one of the things we're looking at is the safety concerns with the grade crossing. The safety concerns with the grade crossing that, for all intents and purposes, was eliminated with State Route 344's reroute or expansion back in the early 1960s. I believe Mr. Minor has some plans from that, and it refers to part of the reason for the project at that time. So at that time, the Ohio Department of Transportation wasn't sure about the safety of the area. The railroad, Penn Central, was concerned with that grade crossing. There was a project that changed the course of the road and took a lot of the traffic off of the crossing. The problem is the grade crossing is still there. Now, you've heard the plans that my clients have for a unit train track, which is going to bring revenue. It's going to bring some economic development because there are some other companies that will likely follow. That's good. Are there problems with it? Sure. There are some people that are not particularly happy with the idea of closing that grade crossing. We understand that, and that's why we're trying to continue to address the intersection. If we're going to put more traffic on there, we want it to be as safe as everybody else. But the interesting thing to me is the grade crossing itself, we're not the only ones that think it needs to be closed. Ohio Rail Development Commission was here in December. As Kathy Stout from the agency said, this is now on my radar. So you've got something that's unusual, economic development and regulatory agencies that are saying the same thing. The crossing is not safe. Not just because of the plans of Buckeye Transfer, but just in general. So I think that, the only thing I can say is we're trying, we've listened to everybody, we're trying to do everything that we can. Do we think we're going to make everybody happy? I wish I could stand here and say absolutely, but I'm going to be honest. I don't know that everybody will be, but I think we're doing what we can to make as many people happy, to solve as many problems as have been brought to our attention. I'm not sure if the trustees are in a position to vote on this tonight. I understand we're still doing some additional work. We'll be here another time if we need to be, but just want you to understand, and everybody that's here to understand, we're trying to do everything we can to be a good neighbor. So that's it. Thanks.
Well, you've exceeded the 3-minute rule.
I thought I was pretty brief, actually.
Mr. Stone.
I have nothing more to say, sir.
Shareen Adair.
I just want to say again that I'm very concerned about the rail crossing getting shut down. I've been traveling that way over the last month, and I've been viewing the traffic going through there. Most of the trucks coming from the facility is using that particular path to get back on 344 with their trucks. A lot of them are not going up through that intersection, and primarily because it isn't safe and it's dangerous to be turning up into a grade, up into another grade. Recently, when it snowed really bad, that intersection gets pretty dicey. It's pretty snow-covered, it's pretty icy. My vehicle alone slid, and now it's high. The grade is a lot higher there, and I think one of the people that were here that live in that stone house, he was concerned about having some kind of guardrails put up, and I can understand why. That pavement sits up pretty high. If any one of those tractor-trailer rigs gets their wheels down into that ditch, they're going to roll it. And then that's who's going to pay for that.
My other concern is I live on the bottom end of Cherry Fork Road, so people tend to take the path of least resistance. So what's going to happen is a lot of people are going to try to avoid that intersection because it's going to be congested. So they're going to turn around and go up Cherry Fork Road on the other side. There's a one-lane bridge there. There are several very, very bad curves. In the summertime, McMaster's and Van Pelt, they run a commercial agricultural industry. They plant corn. The corn is so high that when you get around that curve, you can't see. I've been run off the road twice up there. So if you start diverting more traffic through there, you're just asking for trouble. In the summertime, there are a lot of farmers up there. You've got Showalters, you've got Van Pelts, you've got McMaster's, you've got skid steers, you've got combines, tractors. I mean, they're constantly moving up through there. Now you're going to have more traffic coming through there. It is just a cocktail for a very bad accident to happen. On the dead ends and the barriers, I understand that those will go up. Who's going to maintain that? Make sure people aren't trashing it, hanging out there. I mean, who's going to monitor that, keep it clean, and who's going to pay the expense of doing that? When was the last traffic study done in that area? I read in the newspaper there was a traffic study probably done in the 1960s. We're 50 years in the future. How much traffic is really moving through that area right now? There's school buses that come through there. Down Cherry Fork Road, they're picking up the kids going to Crestview schools there. So now you're going to mix more traffic coming through there with a school bus traveling in that area. And also the other concern is they're going to be cleaning brining water. So if you shut off the rail crossing there, you're limiting the access to that facility in case there's an accident. You've got heavy machinery there, you've got trucks there, you've got rail cars there, you have probably propane tanks, very large propane tanks there, you've got industrial equipment inside there, and now you've got brine water that you're going to be cleaning, and it has chemicals. I mean, the likelihood of having an accident is probably rare, but if it does happen, I think the emergency people were here and they stated that time is of the essence. You got to get there fast to save lives, to save equipment, save whatever. If you shut off that one exit there, they're going to either have to come in on an already congested intersection or travel down Cherry Fork Road. And myself, I can't hardly see a fire truck traveling down there at a high rate of speed trying to get somewhere to save someone's life. There is an expiration date on the shale industry. I mean, most analysts are saying it's 10, 15 years. So now you shut down a rail crossing, you have a unit train system. What are we going to do after that whole industry has pretty much dried up? And that's basically where I'm going to end that. Okay? Thank you.
Mr. Burke.
Well, I say close it. And take the tax dollars and go down the road for the future. We got to move ahead. It's coming. We'll make jobs, give taxes, all kind of things. That's my theory.
Mary Ann also.
Okay. Bob, I'll try to keep within my 3 minutes? And I don't want to sound like a broken record here, like this gentleman just said I don't know him, but yeah, bring it on. Never have we said that we're against any kind of development in my neighborhood. I've lived in that neighborhood for 34 years. I certainly know it. I'm not against anybody being successful. Bring it on, okay? But there's a definite problem with bringing it on, because bringing it on means closing an intersection that Mr. Hudson said is dangerous. Okay, they're going to close a crossing that he claims is dangerous. Okay, close it. And they're going to close it because there's an alternate entry and exit. But I hear nobody say anything about the integrity and the safety features that are connected with the closing of that railroad crossing. I've lived in that neighborhood for 34 years. I know that intersection probably better than anybody else here except for Sharina. She probably knows it as well as I do. And it is not an intersection that is capable of handling the amount of additional traffic that Mr. Stoneburner says will be created with the industrial park. Okay, a 4-stage industrial park in Fairfield Township, great. We love that idea. And I don't care that it's right across the road from me, practically on my front porch. I'm not against that. That's fine. But something has to be done to address the fact that all of that added traffic is going to an intersection that right now is not capable of handling that kind of traffic. All the people that are for this industrial park, me included, I'm for it, but let's hear some more talk about what's going to be done to that intersection to be able to handle it. And so far, with all of these meetings and all of the people that are here to cheerlead this project, I have not heard one person state what's definitely going to be done for that intersection. Now, I don't know where all you people live, and I don't want to know where all you people live, but everybody knows where I live. And I'm living right in the middle of this industrial park. And I'm not against the industrial park, and that's been on the record since this whole thing started. I want something discussed about what's going to happen to the intersection if that railroad crossing is closed. Because I don't think most of the people here, except maybe Sharina and Mr. Hum, know what kind of situation is going to be created if nothing is done to the intersection that all this traffic, additional traffic, is going to mean to that intersection. So, I'm in agreement with you. Hey, bring it on. Let's have an industrial, 4-stage industrial park. Let's have a unit train on that 91 acres. But if we close that railroad crossing, it's going to create a situation that one intersection will not be able to handle the additional traffic in the state that it's in right now. And that's my position. So let's hear somebody that's also, according to you, sir, bring it on. Let's hear somebody that's for this project address the situation that this project of closing down the railroad crossing is going to create. I haven't heard anybody discuss that. Nobody here in this room except Sharina, myself, because we live in that neighborhood. And not only do we live in that neighborhood, we do business in that neighborhood. So let's hear some discussion. Mark Hudson said, oh, we're addressing the safety situation of that intersection, but what have we heard is actually going to be done? That's my position. Okay? Thank you.
Is it Agnes C. Jones?
Also
But you go by
C.
C, right?
Yeah, I go by
It says C. Jones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we'll have to be official on it. Yeah. Okay, I am on the board of the Columbiana Chamber area, which includes Fairfield Township and here. I'm also a resident of Fairfield Township, also a member of the appeals board. I have not been a long-time resident of this area. I've been here since about 2000. So in this area, I don't think that's considered long-term, but, you know. What I see is a crossing that has been decided that is superfluous and of danger. The roads that you're talking about have been there, I think, since the industrial park was created some 50, 60, 70 years ago.
They handled all the trucks that were in that area using that park at the time that it was very busy. So somehow or another, they handled the traffic. The last time I was here, I missed the one meeting, but the time before that, when the emergency people were here and asked about the safety issues, they were satisfied with the answer that they would be coming in from one area and it would be kept open. I don't understand, when there have been so many studies, I don't understand how you can say nothing's been done. I think there has been a lot done, a lot addressed. It's just not addressed every single meeting. I think we should close the crossing. I think it's going to be closed anyway by the railroad at some point, in which case we will miss all the funding that we could have now. The funding that will help our township and that will help our area. I think we should take advantage of it because it's going to happen. Thank you.
Mr. By.
I just read about this in the paper after your last meeting, and I'm a developer, been building roads, putting in developments and stuff in the area for quite some time. And my little brain got to working, and I thought I would at least address what my thoughts are to you, and maybe nothing like this has been thought of. I agree with Mary Ann. I play golf there. I know if you hit a ball too hard off of number 4, you're going to smack one of those trucks. I also agree that the railroad crossing is not needed. I think we could take the money out of the crossing implement, or things that you use, the crossing guard electrical, whoever owns that, and use that money to build a road for the industrial park. Every industrial park that I know has their own entrance. They don't use somebody else's right-of-way or road. There is a woods that is right along the edge of the existing road there now, on the south side. A separate entrance could be put in that would come off of that intersection. The intersection is steep, relatively. I think maybe it could be changed, it could be improved. The elevation could be lessened. It doesn't have to be as steep as it is. And they could build a ramp so that it wouldn't be that dangerous. And the access into the industrial park would be separate then from the access into the golf course or to the other industry that's there on the right-hand side. And to me, I drove through there today and looked at it, and I don't think it would take that much of it would take some fill, take some material to bring it up to a decent intersection. You don't want any intersections really. It's on an incline. That's not good. So it would probably have to be widened. Again, I think a study from the highway department or somebody along that line. And at that point, put a separate entrance into the industrial park. Close the railroad. That way, if this lasts 15 years or lasts 20 years or whatever, it wouldn't interfere with the golf course or the other business there. They would have a separate entrance, and you'd just be utilizing a little bit more ground. It looks to me like they're putting a railroad spur in there, and it could come right close to the edge of that, or between the road and that, they having a separate entrance in there. So maybe they could even cross their own tracks at that point. I don't know what their plans are, but I don't think this is, to me it doesn't sound like that it's anything that's that major project to me. I just, a matter of getting some fill material, building up a ramp so that it's gradual, improving the the entrance onto 344. If you can get some money out of the railroad crossing, whatever they call it, the lights and the flashers and all that, if that, I don't know who owns that or who that belongs to, but they can reuse that somewhere else, that money could maybe be used towards building this other access. It would take pressure off the traffic. I've seen when Marianne has golf outings there, I mean, they're parking clear out, filling up all the possible parking, and so and they've been there a long time too. Mark, I remember as a kid working at Kaiser Chemical, okay? So I might be one of those rare ones that you didn't know.
Chuck, I looked at you, but I wasn't going to say it.
Yeah.
You said it yourself.
But, I mean, there's something that would work for everybody. I think everybody would be happy. You could close the road, have a separate ramp, have a better intersection. It wouldn't affect the golf course. Wouldn't take any more traffic on or off of the people that would go out past your house. They would have a separate entrance for the trucks. What you talking about, 100 trucks a day or something like that? Is that what they said? So that would to me, that's a solution that maybe you hadn't thought of. I don't know.
Is that why you're an Eagle Scout? Let's see, our county commissioner.
Nothing, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, you don't like your name in the paper? Larry Dietrich.
Well, I'm a recent resident, as she says, of Fairfield Township, although I got over 10 years here, but I guess that's recent compared to a lot of people here. But resident of Fairfield Township, but I also sit on the Chamber Board and been with the Chamber of Commerce 9 years now. And I'll reiterate, I think what the consensus here is that this is a no-brainer. This is a business that is responding to the needs of the oil and gas industry right now, and it's going to trickle down with all the benefits of employees and revenue and everything else to everybody in this room. It's a business I don't think that we can let go. The closing of the railroad crossing, I have to rely on a lot of people here as far as the safety goes. I can't address that. But it sounds like that Mr. Stonebrenner and his staff and attorneys have tried to do everything they can to alleviate the problems that's been raised by this. So, I'll use the phrase back here, bring it on. We just got to work to alleviate some of these other problems.
Terry McCoy.
As you all know, I'm an architect and been in the community for 40 years out here in Fairfield Township. I live on Kelly Park Road in the section of 164 right south of 344. I'm very familiar with the intersection. I'm also a member of the Business Development Committee for the Chamber, and I've been supportive of Mr. Stonebrenner's plans and development for a number of years now. I think the closing of the crossing is worthy to do this for a number of reasons, especially the safety issue. I understand the issue of the intersection of at 344 that's in question right now, and I do believe that we need to take that into consideration, how to best address that. I think once we start to see the truck traffic there, issues may develop, and I think that a study might be necessary. So I think that somewhere on in the horizon here, we should be asking the county engineer to take a look at that intersection as the truck traffic starts to develop there. Once it starts to develop, we start to see issues or problems. It may be the radius, the turn, whatever. I think that whatever occurs, Mr. Stonebrenner is a gentleman, I think, that will stand up and try to rectify the problems and issues. I understand and I do respect Mr. Biling's issue of a separate entrance to an industrial park, but I think if you looked at the drawings and the development drawings, you start to realize there's not adequate space for a separate road because of the loop or the unit train that's going to be there. It's not going to fit. But I think widening that road, widening the intersection, changing the radius those are issues, those are engineering issues and safety issues that I think the county engineer or somebody from the Ohio Department of Highways needs to look at. But I think you're not going to see that until the truck traffic is there. And once the truck traffic is there, maybe we're going to find out there isn't an issue there. I think we need to start doing it. But closing the railroad track crossing, definitely yes, we should do that. Thank you.
Well, fellas, I think it was Resolution 2013-117. Well, we were indicated that we were going to delay the vote of closing the crossing or not till the second meeting in January. And this is the second meeting in January. Now, I had discussions with Casey Talbert today, and I believe the rest of you had also. And there's some safety things that he's working on, and he didn't demand it, but there was a suggestion that possibly we delay our vote so he could finish doing his homework. And I'd rather err on the side of safety than make a hasty decision. Because once we vote up or down, it's going to have an effect that's going to be lasting. So whatever you folks want to do.
Bob, if you look at it, throughout this whole process, we have had excellent comments from both sides of this issue. I think if you look at the overall goal here is one, to improve the commerce in the township. Two, make sure that a decision is made that is not going to hamper the intersection. The intersection itself, we have been working, Mary Ann, with Norfolk Southern, as Bob has said. I've worked with the county engineer, Bob Durbin. Bob Durbin has a plan that put together fairly quickly for us that we gave to Norfolk Southern to address the widening in that intersection. We've also had ODOT out at that site looking at that intersection. So this decision is very important to us as a board and to the community. And we want to make sure that we do everything that we can to do our homework. And we have been doing that. This process just didn't start a month ago. This process started probably about the third week of March. And maybe even sooner when Buckeye Traffic came to us, or Buckeye Transfer came to us, I think in January, to start implementing plans to have discussion. So as a board, I know Bob and I have talked to Casey Talbot. Carl has talked to Casey Talbot, looking at all of these avenues. So this decision is of utmost importance. And we are, as Bob said, not making a hasty decision. We are collectively working with the county engineer, the Ohio Department of Transportation. So these issues are being looked at and are hopefully going to be addressed. And that's why we're not going to make a decision this evening, because there are still things that are in play to make all of these things come to fruition.
What I need is a resolution postponing the vote to a future meeting. And I hate to say the next meeting because I don't want the railroad saying they'd like an additional week. Just move it to the future.
Also move that motion that we move it to another meeting.
I'll second that, Pat.
Mr. Conlon?
Yes.
Mr. Darling?
Yes.
Mr. Minor?
Yes.
Anything else, folks?
That's all I have, sir.
Motion to adjourn.
Still moved.
Second.
Thank you.